What's up, everybody? Justin. Back into the collection here. A couple of things. I'm trying something new for the first several videos I was recording with my phone, and I was using the front camera so I could see myself in the screens and make sure everything was. We could see everything, but the quality wasn't that great. So I've turned my phone around. I'm using the HD camera now. And I'm hoping that everything is going to be in frame because I don't have a screen to look at. I've also got a lamp now for some light, and I'm back upstairs where I like to do this at in front of my CDs. A couple of things. I finished the A's in the last time we did this, but I ended up having a huge stack of CDs in my car. There was like, I don't know, 70 CDs floating around my truck. So I've got a few more A's to go through that were in there, and then we're going to get back into the B's. So let's get in here. These are not in alphabetical order within the letter too much, but I'm still going A to Z. So we have the Ancients Rebirth. The Ancients Rebirth was a black metal band. This is a digipack on Necropolis Records. So shout out to Ben Smasher. He loves Necropolis Records. Digipack. Cool layout, lots of handwritten text, handwritten kind of black letter texts, booklet. This is riffy black metal. It's not really my thing. I've tried listening to it several times. I picked this up at, you've heard Ben talk about him a lot, Wayne Serentopoulos. I was at Wayne's house one time, and I snagged this from him. He was getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and so I took this from him. It's noodly, riffy, black metal, lots of leads. This is a 4-song EP, and I will listen to it every so often, but it looks a lot cooler than it sounds. If that makes any sense. So next, we have Ancient Blood, one word. Ancient Blood is a black metal band from somewhere in South America. I cannot remember. This is also an EP. This is called The Profane Hymns of the Sovereign Darkness. Came out on Black Hate Productions. I'm not familiar with that. Looks like it was a split with the Subliminal Voice, which is out of Germany. This is also an EP, 4 songs. Really chaotic, fast, violent black metal. Really good material. I know they've done a little bit more, but this is the only thing I have by them. But I've always really liked that release. So then we have And Oceans, the Symmetry of I, the Circle of O. And Oceans were a Finnish black metal band that were really odd. Lots of synth. Really weird musical lyrical directions. After this record, they went in and did some. They turned real kind of industrial tinged, and I never got into any of that stuff. But this is the only one I own. But I love this album. I bought it new. It came out in '99, and I bought this new, I think, sight unseen. I had read about it, possibly. But I really love this record. Next, we have Avenger with Shadows of the Damned. Avenger is a Czechoslovakian black / death metal band. They're kind of a heavier black metal band. They have several releases. This is the only one I have. The only other one I'm familiar with is The Fall of Wrath, Devotion, and Blasphemy. I have a t-shirt for that album. But this is really good stuff. It's not your standard kind of Norsecore black metal. It's more riffy, it's more thrashy, more deathy. But I believe they're broke up now. This came out on Merciless Records. It was a split release with Breath of Night, which was Andrew Harris's label from Judas Iscariot. But this is really good, just pounding black death metal. Okay, I think now that is the end of the A's again. So we're going to jump back into the B's, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite releases. This is Balsagoth. I was watching one of Ben Smasher's videos yesterday, and he touched on Balsagoth and how much he really likes them. But he did not have this album. This is Atlantis Ascendant. Balsagoth is kind of a black / power metal band. And they started as more of a symphonic black metal band, and I like that material, but I don't own any of it. But I bought this in Tallahassee, Florida, like I've mentioned several times. I bought lots and lots and lots of albums at a couple of stores in Tallahassee, Florida in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I bought this, I think just because of how ridiculous it looks. I mean, look at that. You've got a big, like, Gundam mech alien warrior on the front or something. But this is a concept album. It has a narrative that has to do with time and Antarctica and adventure. But if you could imagine what black metal and power metal sounds like together, that would be this. A good friend of mine is in my band. His name is Derek. I turned him onto this, and he told me he's been waiting to see me review this and talk about it, because he probably loves it more than I do. We've been on tour and been on band trips and listened to this just over and over and over again across the country. This is a great one, but it's definitely not for everyone. Okay, we are a little out of order here. This is Brighter Death Now. Brighter Death Now is kind of a martial industrial or death industrial act. It's not your standard instrumentation. It's lots of power electronics and noise and ambient sounds, and with different kinds of vocals. This is With Promises of Death. It comes in this cardboard eco type sleeve. This is their most recent full length that came out in 2014 or 15. But this is just dreary, grim, despondent music. But you can't drive around in the car and listen to this unless you want to murder people. But I really, really like Brighter Death Now and anything that sounds like them. This is the only one I own, though. Next, we have a little bit different. This is Boy Sets Fire. Boy Sets Fire was a hardcore or emo band from the late 90s. This is their album, The Day the Sun Went Out. Came out on Equal Vision Records. This is a re-release. Originally came out in 1997. I'm not sure what year this is from. Probably 2010-ish, 2009, somewhere in there. But this is just really good, emotive, kind of light hardcore. Screamed vocals, clean vocals. Lots of good riffs, lots of emotion in it, though. But I'm a big fan of these guys. Next we're going to get into some more black metal. This is Burgeron. Burgeron is a black metal band from Germany, I believe. Everything is in German. This is Ulrach Gedanken. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. This release is one song. It's 20 minutes long, and it spans the full range of sonics. You have acoustic guitars and long tremolo parts and more riffy parts, a little folky. I was talking about this release and this band with someone on Facebook the other day, and we pulled up Metal Archives and saw that his new stuff looks pretty wild, pretty modern, and I'm not planning on checking it out anytime soon. But after that conversation, I threw this in the car last week, and it's still great. It's I got really, really into underground black metal around 2000 to 2005. That was all I would listen to. And anything that was just grim and more melancholic or had really long songs, I loved. And this is one of those albums. Next we have, now this is out of order, Branagh Call. I haven't gotten to the BRs yet, but let's go ahead and do Branagh Call since I have this one in my hand, because I have a couple of their CDs. I thought I did anyway. Yeah, here's another one. So, I have two Branagh Call CDs. Branagh Call is a black metal band from Russia. Maybe the Ukraine, but I think Russia. Kaldrad is the main guy in the band. He's also in Forest. He may have had a hand in Druk. But this is kind of his main band. I think he's in Nitberg as well. Any of the Blazebirth Hall bands, I think he has done something in all of them. But this is the grimmest of the grim the sonic palette a band like Branagh Call paints is just one just driving fist the whole time. It's not fast, it's not slow. But Russian and Ukrainian bands have such a unique sound and a unique delivery to the way they sing that it just puts you in a mood. It pulls you down to a dark place. I don't know how to say this, Varg, Fjern, and Tornet, and To Kampf, which means to war. This one, I believe, is their first full length. It's only 4 songs. All the songs are very long. This has 3 songs on it. Both of these came out on Stellar Winter. But Branagh Call is just untouchable. They have a bunch of releases, and anytime I come across one, I like to snag it. But excellent band. Next, we are... I think we're back in order now. This is Black Circle. I had some conversation the other day on Instagram and Facebook with some buddies of mine about Black Circle. They were a black metal... It was one guy, a guy named Strid. Formerly, he was in a band called Svarder Strid, and they have one release that's really, really good. I have on cassette tape. Black Circle did 2 full lengths, and I have them both on tape. I have them both on LP, and then I also have this one on CD. This is The Distant Wind, which was I believe it was the second record, but I can't remember now. But this is straight up the best Judas Iscariot worship that has ever been made. It is Judas Iscariot outdoing Judas Iscariot almost. Of Great Eternity era, Distant and Solitary Night era, Judas Iscariot. But this record is just, along with the other one, is just fucking amazing. Slow, despondent black metal with howled screams. He delivers his vocals the same way Akhenaten did. This came out in 2004, and with song titles like Bless the Heavens with War, My Lord, and In the Mist of the Night He Arose, The Night Under a Cold Eternal Sky. Man, I'm a sucker for this shit. This band came and went. Nobody ever knew about them. This came out on Total Holocaust Records out of Sweden, which was a very kind of boutique cult black metal label many years ago. And the first black metal project I ever did, we released a cassette tape on Total Holocaust, and I would buy a lot of his stuff and trade with him. But I cannot understate how much I love Black Circle. I mentioned in a couple videos ago that one of my bands was once on Relapse, and Relapse sent me a big box of CDs as kind of a welcome to the label. One of them was Black Anvil, who I don't know much about Black Anvil. I think they're kind of a fake black metal band is what they're doing now. I don't know. This is Time Insults the Mind. I've never listened to it. I probably never will. It's not my thing. Next we have Bizarre Embalming. Bizarre Embalming. This is Necrosadistic Surgery. This is a kind of a old school brutal death metal band. They are from somewhere crazy like Poland or the Czech Republic. This came out on Bizarre Leprous Production. Got a corpse on the back with hairy armpits. This is pathological gore grind more or less. I picked this up because of how absurd it looked, and it's called Bizarre Embalming, and I'm an embalmer. That's what I do for a living. So I jumped all over this. It's good. It's good when I'm in the mood for that kind of stuff. Okay, more CDs from the giant trade I talk about in every single video, where I acquired 200 CDs of various degrees of shittiness. This is Bitch Slicer. I don't know anything about Bitch Slicer. This is Lycanthropic Fellatio. And on the cover you have what looks like Skeletor getting a blowjob from a werewolf. If the music is half as awesome as that is, I doubt it. But still not open. If you know Bitch Slicer, talk to me about it in the comments. Oh, here we go. So, this is exciting. Birds of Prey. So, not yet. Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey. I talked about Beaten Back to Pure in the first B video. And the singer of Beaten Back to Pure was a guy named Ben Hogg, and Ben Hogg was the singer of Birds of Prey. They put out 3 records on Relapse, and I have 2 of them, The Hell Preacher and Weight of the Wound. This was the first one, and this was the last one, and I'm missing the second one, I believe. But this was Ben singing, Eric Larson from Alabama Thunder Pussy on guitar, Dave Whitty on drums from Municipal Waste, and a bunch of other bands who... I met him one night at a show. I just recognized him, and he corrected me. His name is not Dave Witt. It is Dave Whitty, and he was really fucking cool. But Ben is a personal friend of mine. We got to know each other through our bands, and we've hung out. He's come to see my band before. But this is like rednecks playing Entombed and singing about mongoloids that live in the woods. Every record has kind of a narrative to it, especially the Hell Preacher. These are like Cormac McCarthy or Jack Ketchum novels set to music. But it's just like guys got together with some HM2 pedals in a trailer park and knocked out some of the nastiest fucking black and roll you've ever heard. But I absolutely love this band, and I don't think they're ever going to do anything to the... I believe that Eric Larson is no longer interested in playing metal, so they're more or less done. But if you ever see either one of these, and that sounds like something you'd like, pick up Birds of Prey. Okay, you saw me drop a Bilsky Near CD, and I have 4 Bilsky Near CDs. Bilsky Near is black metal. Some people call them sketchy black metal. I don't really care about a band's politics, and we'll talk about that more when I get into some stuff that I own. But I just don't give a shit. If I like the music, I like the music, and I'm going to listen to it. Something has to be really, really left of center for me to be turned off by the content. I would rather listen to NSBM than I would Christian death metal, but that's just me. So I have Toten here, Fura Teutonicus, In the Flames of Purification, and Unhenneber. I've probably pronounced all of those wrong. But Bilsky Near is a black metal band, not unlike something like Burzum or Infernum, the real Infernum. I really, really like this band. I don't know where all of these fall in their discography. There's a bunch of them, but every time I see a Bilsky Near CD, I snag it. It sounds like what it looks like, and it's just grim and raw. It's just great fucking nasty black metal. So one more for this round. Ben Smasher talked about this band recently. This is Beyond Hell. Now, he had the Beyond Hell full length, which I'm surprised I don't have a copy of it unless it is out of order up here. But Beyond Hell was a death metal band, thrashy death metal band, made up of a bunch of buddies of mine. And my buddy Wayne Sarantopoulos, who he has gone by the name Electrocutioner on tons of albums and CDs and records and bands. In my bands, he's gone by that and his real name. But this was a internet project he did with some buddies. This is the demo, and this came out on Cursed Existence Records, who I'm not familiar with. This came out in 2010. This is just a little 3-song demo with an intro. And I don't think they did anything else past the full length that kind of fell apart. If you know this, let's talk about it. So for now, we're going to cut this video short here. That was a lot of CDs in a short amount of time. And we're going to get into the rest of the Bs. We've got a good little bit left, so there might be 1 or 2 more videos for the Bs, and then we'll get into the Cs. And I'm coming up with some other ideas for videos here. I did a shit I've bought recently video the other night that it will be up by the time this goes up. So, but let's keep talking about releases and talking about bands and talking about people we know. I'm having a blast doing this. I'm having a blast talking to everybody online. I love the stories behind all these albums that I'm reminiscing about. And hopefully it triggers you to listen to some cool shit as well. So keep watching, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll keep at this. Talk to you later.